Senator Olson, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, when I first saw this bill in Human Services and Early Childhood, I'm going, what in the world are we looking at this stuff for? Fortunately for me, I've been in this industry for a long time. And, you know, this bill, as mentioned, is not a panacea. It's not going to solve the problem. It will perhaps help the problem, but I have concerns. Anytime the state government gets involved in the fair market of constructing projects, homes, real estate, there is always trouble. And I've mentioned on this, and I give the good senator from, let's see, District 23 credit, because as I'm mumbling sitting next to him, he heard me, and he said, well, let's take a look at this and let's talk about it. The concern is this, folks. We've created a document here, a bill here, that will affect low-income affordable housing. But as I said many times, we need to look in the mirror to see why we do not have affordable housing. Let's just start with our land use laws. Nobody wants to expand into farmland. Okay, we can buy that. But the real estate inside of those boundaries becomes very expensive. Very expensive. And then if you get into a bidding war as to who can get onto it and who can build on it, et cetera, then it gets even more expensive. And of course, it has to be zoned correctly. I will mention the fact that many years ago when we had a plastic bag ban, someone told me that there was an island the size of Texas off the coast of Oregon. And my first comment was, let's get out there and subdivide that thing before LCDC put zoning on it. Because this is what adds costs to projects. And then, of course, we get into systems development charges. If you didn't live there, somebody else had to pay the sewer to build a sewer plant, so therefore, when you got there, you should also have to pay for the sewer plant. System development charge. Parks are already available in cities, but yet you must pay a systems development charge for the park. The interesting thing I find about that is, on a systems development charge, if you already live in the city, have already been part of the process, you must in turn pay those systems development charges if you want to move to a new house 2 blocks away. So we have added to those costs. We have driven those costs up. And I'll give you an example. In Canby, the cheapest lot you can buy is $90,000. Systems development charges are $27,000. That's $117,000 before you've ever put a shovel into the ground. So let's get back to what else did we do? We decided when we were building that we needed to make certain that our homes were seismically retrofitted so they wouldn't fall over in an earthquake. It adds about $5,000 worth of steel to a house so that the house doesn't fall over. Now, I'll tell you this as a builder, the house will not fall over, but you will not be able to live in it again. You'll have to bulldoze it because it'll stand there long enough for you to get out, but it'll be so bent and crooked that you won't fix it, so you will rebuild it. And then we added the energy conscript. We needed to have homes that were much more efficient, which is a good deal. When I built my home in 1987, where I live now, I did all the energy things that I thought were appropriate at the time. And it really works. My house stays cool in the summertime, and I don't have air conditioning, so I'm not burning electricity. In the wintertime, it stays extremely warm. And I really like it because it's very, very comfortable. I met those goals, but we've added so many more goals like compact fluorescent lighting, which in a normal 2,000 square foot house adds about $2,000 to $5,000 a house. Now, the interesting thing about this is that if you've ever dealt with compact fluorescent lighting, when you get up in the morning, you want your lights on, but compact fluorescent lighting comes up very slowly. And what did compact fluorescent lighting have in it that we don't like? Mercury. So when those bulbs break, we end up putting mercury into the landfills. So let's get back to this topic. The compact fluorescent lighting, the energy requirements, all of that stuff adds about $20,000 to the cost of a home. Throw that on top of the system development charges, I'm at $150,000 before I ever stick a shovel in the ground. Now, if I wanted to build an affordable house that someone could really get into, it'd be nice to have it around $229,000. So what kind of house could I build if I'm at $150,000? What kind of house could I build at $229,000 and still make a profit on it? A $50,000 house. That's building a 1,000 square foot house at $50 a square foot. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. So, folks, when you look at affordable housing, you look at the necessity for it, which we have. The fact is that we, this body, have driven up those costs and make it very difficult for people to build affordable housing. So to make it happen, what do we have to do? Oh, that's right. And I bemoan this, but I will accept this. Construction excise tax. Let's let everybody that wants to go build a house have to pay a new tax to pay for affordable housing. Oh, but what did that just do? Put another cost on the house, which drove that up. Now, what happens at the other end? In the market that I'm in, that pushes those people out of the market to buy a house so they don't get built. So then you don't have the construction excise tax to build affordable housing. We've done it to ourselves. Now, I understand the necessity of getting people into homes. It's critical. It's critical. This bill is a very small step to get us there. I have doubts whether it will work. Many people sat down and said, we have to have this to make this work. So here's the bill. Now, I will support this bill. I will support this bill, but I think we really need to look seriously at how we really get to affordable housing. And you know how you do that? Something I've talked about for 5 years now. Jobs. We need to work on jobs. We need to work to put people back to work. Because, you know, when we just talked about a minimum wage, and realistically, had that gone to $50 an hour, which would have been wonderful, they could have started buying my houses. Except my houses would quadruple in cost. So this is a step, not liked by all, as apparent from a discussion we just had, but I guess it's a step that's necessary. But when you go home tonight, look in the mirror and say, is Oregon really doing as well as we say it is? Is it really the exciting place to move to? Everybody wants to move here. Are they moving here because of dope? I don't know. But you know when they move here, they have trouble finding jobs. They have trouble living on what they get paid. They have trouble finding housing. That to me doesn't sound like a state that's in great repair. And maybe those are the things we need to concentrate on in the long session so we have some time to discuss these. And I will also say that, you know, a comment was made on the construction excise tax. It's up to the city if they want to do it or not. Well, I tell you what, you show me a politician you don't dangle a dollar in front of that he doesn't want. Every city will take advantage of this program. Will they raise enough money to do anything for affordable housing? I doubt it. Will they make it harder for developers to come in and build projects? Possibly. I've developed. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. And it's very difficult to put your money on the line and say, this is what I need to get done, and have a city say, oh, by the way, this is what we're going to add to your cost to your project. Because remember, developers, when they come in to develop, they put in the streets, they put in the sewer, they put in the water, they put in the electricity, they build the curb, they build the sidewalk, they provide the street lighting, and then they hope to make a profit on the project. I will support this bill, but with caution. And I will say we need to look to see what we can do to make it easier for people to put up projects that make profit and provide housing for individuals as they should. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Hansel yielded his time. Senator Ferrioli.